Namaste, my beautiful queens, beautiful kings. If any, there will be no cards in this video. I will be talking in this video. I call the videos like this my job of a twin flame. My main job is to give you information which would probably make you think and probably will help you somehow to avoid mistakes in your life or avoid someone to treat you wrong. I want to talk about the subject of hate. There was like a subject of hate. Can you do something about someone who hates you with no reason? Because it happens to all of us. Can you do something about it? This subject is also going to be combined with the subject number 2. If someone does not love you, can you do something about it? There was a big conference of psychologists, I believe many years ago, 10, 12 years ago, and a woman in the audience, she got up and she asked, so my mother-in-law hates me so much, and can I please do something? Can you tell me how can I create nice, kind relationship with my mother-in-law? Can it be done? And one of a very famous back then author and a psychologist, he gave a very simple answer: no, nothing can be done. You can't. And he was criticized for that severely. He was criticized for that. So the thing is, he said the absolute correct answer. You have to understand that when someone hates you or someone doesn't love you, they don't hate you because of something. Because you have done something or because you haven't done something. Many people follow, unfortunately, the wrong advice. Try to build relationship with the one who hates you. The one who hates you is an abuser, whoever it is. Someone at work, someone at school, someone in your family. The problem is that they don't hate you for something. You didn't cause that hate. They don't hate you for something. They hate you, period, without reason, because you kind of like the bone in their throat. Why? Because the dark hates the light. The greed hates the generosity. The evil hates kindness. And no matter what you do, even if you give everything to the one who hates you, they will only hate you more. There was a philosopher, a very famous Roman philosopher, Seneca. He was a prophet of Roman Stoicism. So he was hated by 2 very bloody emperors of a Roman Empire, Caligula and Nero. His death was really terrible because Nero, he ordered Seneca, who was already old, he gave him an order to commit a suicide. When according to some information, Seneca tried to somehow influence the beast Nero. You probably heard of that bloody emperor. He tried to influence him with, there is this expression which is called kill them with kindness. No, you cannot kill them with kindness. So Seneca was a man who was a man of honor, a man of undescribable wisdom, undescribable honor, kindness. Stoicism, what is Stoicism? What kind of philosophy it is? You can look it up, who was Seneca and what he was standing for. But he gave everything he had, everything, like just pretty much imagine that you are being hated by your mother-in-law or by your sister-in-law or by your neighbor. So imagine this: you sell everything you possess, and you just come to that one person who hates you, and you give them everything, and you say, here, take it, I don't need anything, I just don't want you to hate me, take it. You know what's going to happen? If you simply, I will give a little more brutal experience. If you cut out your heart, put it on a silver plate, and bring it to the one who hates you, you know what's going to happen? They're going to hate you more. My son, Tommy, he told me the story he read recently online. I cannot tell you exactly who and what, but it was a story when one organization, one man needed the kidney implant. So it was a woman who worked with that man at the same place, and he absolutely hated that woman. But when his health was so bad that he needed a kidney implant, otherwise he would die, you know what that woman did? That woman, she donated one of her kidneys to this man. So they did a surgery, and the man, it's a true story. We are talking true story, and Seneca is a true story, but Seneca was many hundreds years ago. When that man recovered, you know what he did? He fired her. He fired a woman who saved his life. Another story I can tell you also, which really happened. A man saved a woman who was drowning. He was a sportsman and he was a professional swimmer. He saw a woman drowning. He saved that woman's life. She survived. You know what she did? She sued him for $25,000 because she said, I didn't ask to be saved. Because of such horrific people, people start to be terrified to do good deeds. So you see an example of Seneca. Seneca gave everything he possessed, and he was not a poor man. He gave everything he possessed to Nero. And he just kept himself some little, some little house where he was living with his wife Octavia, and he gave everything he had to Nero in his attempt to not cause such severe hate. Everything he had, all he ever done was giving kindness, honor, and generosity. So what happened after that? Nero hated him even more for that. It's like that guy who hated the woman who saved his life by donating her key. Why? Because it's a mirror. In my book, I just want you to remember, I did describe this story, and I cannot tell you the source of it. Either someone told me that story, or I heard it someone, or I read it someone. When a woman, crystal and pure as the tear, comes to a very wise man, she comes to a wise man and she's asking, what is happening? I always give kindness. I always give everything I have to people. The worse they treat me, the better I try to give back to them so they can become better and they stop hating me. Why do they hate me? Why do they treat me wrong? And the wise man said, because you are a mirror. When these people look at you, like in the mirror, they see their own ugliness and shadows and dark places. And because they see it in you like in a mirror, they hate you. So Nero, that beast, he hated Seneca because he was opposite of what he was. He was kind. He was generous. He was wise. He was pure-hearted. And what he did? He ordered him to murder himself. That was the result of Seneca refusing from everything and telling him, take it. Take everything. Just please don't hate me. Just take everything from me. Just leave me alone. Just please stop hating me. Take it all. And he hated him even more, and he ordered him to murder himself. Is this example clear enough for you to understand? Person who hates you doesn't hate you for something. They hate your very existence. Because you, like a mirror, show them what they don't have. And can you change it? No, you cannot change it. And it comes with the second subject. Can you deserve love? Can you deserve love? No. If you have this dude and that dude doesn't love you, or even hates you, or doesn't give a damn, or doesn't love you, many of you somehow believe that if you sacrifice yourself, like sati, this horrific ritual, when it was several hundred years ago, actually, from time to time, things like this happen, but things happen not as often anymore. Sati is when what happens when a husband dies and his body is being given to the fire. If he has a wife who is still alive, that wife has to walk into that fire with her husband. This is called sati. So some of you do believe that if you sacrifice yourself, you sacrifice, usually of course you don't burn yourself in sati ritual, horrific ritual, but you burn yourself emotionally, burn yourself spiritually, you destroy yourself in your attempt to somehow cause this man to love you. And some of your stories, it's not possible to believe. Women sacrifice careers, sacrifice scientific achievements so she doesn't irritate that guy. Because the guy, especially narcissistic type, when a woman is rising in her own achievement, whatever it is, he becomes angry. So a woman would refuse from significant, magnificent talent in art, in science, in the career. So she does not make the dude angry, so he's happy. Do you think he's gonna be happy? No, he's gonna hate her more because she's capable of doing this, what he's not capable of doing. Please, you have to understand it very clearly. If someone hates you, or someone doesn't love you, you can build Taj Mahal, or you can build Paris Opera, write his name on it and dedicate it to him. If someone doesn't love you, no matter what you do, you're gonna discover a new planet, call this planet with his name, dedicate next 100 lives to it. If someone hates you or someone doesn't love you, no matter what you do, you cannot change that. But if that someone hates you, they hate your existence. They hate just the way you are because you are not like them. Seneca, he was hated by Caligula and by Nero because both Caligula and Nero are horrific beings, beastly beings, which went into history as the bloodiest, the worst beings in history. In Roman history. Actually, even Roman history is not really that type of, we'll not go into it actually. It's a different story actually about Rome. But the thing is that he was hated because he had what they didn't have and they couldn't have. You will be hated for your time. I already wrote even a post about it. You know what I hear? I have a very, very good friend for years. She edited my first book, in my Russian version book editor. And she wrote me 2 days ago such words. Are you ready to be hated? Because when your book's gonna come out in English, can you imagine how many people's gonna hate you? Well, it's gonna be a lot of people who gonna love you and admire you, but can you imagine amount of people who gonna hate you with passion? Because you're gonna be that mirror showing them, think of this, think of this, think of this. And she wrote me, are you ready to be hated? A couple of years ago, I would say no, because I am overly sensitive. I'm a very sensitive person. People with big hearts, they are usually sensitive. And now I say, yes, this is the problem. Hated. You can be hated for your beauty. You can be hated for your talent. You can be hated for your success. You can be hated for just because the way you are. I've done these mistakes before. I am lucky. Most of the people who know me, they really love me. But if someone hates me, I've done this mistake of trying to turn them around, of kind of like and I didn't have many people hating me in my life, and I'm glad that happened. But those who hated me, and I was crying buckets. I was like, why? And I was ready to save their life, to give them everything I have, like Seneca. I was ready to do anything because I did really truly believe that something can be done about it. No. If you become like one of them. If someone gives you advice that you just have to try to make them love you, it's a wrong advice. When you try to give them kindness, generosity, and everything under the sun, they're gonna hate you even more because you're gonna be like this. So what you do, if possible, if it is possible, simply close the door to your life to these people, if it's possible. If those people are parts of your family, and the most tragic, of course, is if you are living with them in one house. For example, the legendary hate of mothers-in-law, especially in Slavic countries, it's a legend. Legendary hate of a mother-in-law to daughter-in-law. It's like there are dozens of not funny stories, unfortunately, not funnies, when all her life the mother-in-law dedicates her life into making the life of daughter-in-law as miserable as possible. So the issue is, you have to understand, everything the person who hates you does, they do in purpose, and they do in order to destroy you, to shake you, to make you cry. But if you try to protect yourself, they're gonna blame you. They're gonna tell you, I didn't say anything, I didn't really, it's just the way you take it. They will turn everything you do, everything you say against you. Even in social media, you can see them. And if you don't want even to argue with them, because sometimes I don't want to argue with this, I used to try to prove something to people, especially to religious fanatics who would write a comment. I would read a comment, and I would try to actually make them think that what they're telling me is nonsense. Right now, I don't do this. I simply delete a comment and block a person. What happens? They email me. They take the time, find my email, and then they email me like a huge email. I had received tons of curses, tons of threats, tons of some ridiculous idiots. I used to be very, very, very upset, and I used to try kindly, softly explain them and give them actually the information when they can find and read for themselves what they are wrong about. I would take my time to explain many things to them, but they don't need my explanation. They don't need my explanation. They just need to show me their hate. And why they hate me? Because I have the knowledge and I have the courage to share my knowledge. And the problem is that whoever becomes aggressive, they know that you are right. That's what the case, girls. Because whoever becomes aggressive against you and start threatening you or writing you all this nonsense, they know you are right. And deep inside, they know that you are right, but they don't want to admit it. And that they give tons of an aggression towards you. They will blame you that you misunderstood them, or that you just take everything so, like a person who hates you can tell you something, like a joke or a double compliment or a joke, and you can become upset, and you might say, you know what, I don't want you to talk to me like this. I don't like it. And instantly that person's gonna turn it around. Say, you see, I can't even tell you anything, because the way anything you say, anything you do is gonna be turned upside down and used against you. And you can't change it, because they simply, deep inside, they wish they could be you. You can see this happening with famous people, with successful people someone who was, especially someone who was nobody, and then they have risen to a certain heights, and they are being given so much love and adoration. Because I've seen it. There is a book by a Russian actress, Lyudmila Gurchenko, because she was only 21 when she became the toppest of the toppest of the stars, and worshipped by around 60 million people. And then there was a thing fabricated in order to destroy her. It's a long story. So those who loved her and adored her, they instantly turned against her, because secretly you love and adore that woman, but secretly you hate that woman because you couldn't do what she had done. And she was very young, and already when she was much older, she said that she doesn't know how she survived, because she didn't understand why people would hate her, because she hasn't done anything. Or there were so many people hating her guts and trying to destroy her when she was just a young, extremely talented girl. And then very old actor and singer who already was 65, he told her, people will not forgive you talent, people will not forgive you success, and people will not forgive you that you achieved this, what they would never be able to achieve. People don't forgive that. You will not be, for you have to be ready for this. You have to, he said, you have to grow thick skin. I'm not telling you here, become cruel and become cold and don't act with compassion and kindness. No, this is not my case. What I am saying here, my beautiful queens, that if someone hates you, try to completely cut communication, because you can't change it. This is what this is what I need you to understand. You can give them your heart, you can give them kidney, you can give them all your blood, you can sacrifice your life in their name, you can give, like Baruch Spinoza, another philosopher, he gave everything to his sister, and he was living in this little tiny room in horrific poverty, and she still hated him. He gave everything, but she still hated him, up to the point that she was planning to murder him. Why? Because he was kind, he was generous, he was wonderful, he gave everything to her. So just to stop that hate between brother and sister, he didn't stop it. After he died, even then she kept on hating him. So if someone hates you, you cannot change it, you can't deserve that, you cannot change anything. Same when someone doesn't love you. So please cut out these people out of your life. But if the situation is when you have to communicate with those people, when you have to, they're part of your family, try to simply not build your boundaries. Just build your boundaries and try to understand whatever they do and say is not about something being wrong with you. It's something being wrong with them. They just hate your guts because they cannot be you. As simple as that. They hate your guts because they cannot be you. Because they don't have what you have deep inside or outside of whatever. I've seen, unfortunately, one sister hating the other sister because that one had a happy marriage. You won't believe it. They are 2 years apart. And the sister who hated the first one gave her, and she pretty much was paying for second sister house, car, clothes, groceries. She was doing everything for her. And for that, the second sister hated the first one even more. It's a whole story. I can write a book about it. How the second sister destroyed the first one just because she hated her. And no matter what the first one did, she would keep on hating her. She would even keep her hating her more for whatever she did. If it's in your family, someone, Try to build your boundaries. Try to cut communication with that person as much as possible. And if it's not possible, just build your boundaries and, I don't know, pretend to be, I don't tell you take whatever they do to you, but you have to understand you can't anyhow change it. Don't try to change it. Stand your ground. Stand your ground and stand up for yourself. Do not be afraid to stand up for yourself. You are your biggest treasure. You have to treasure yourself. Do not be afraid in any situation to stand up for yourself. And this way, teach your children to stand up. If your child comes home, he's being bullied and beaten up, don't tell him, or go become friends with those who bullied you and beated you. No. Teach yourself to stand up for yourself, and you yourself, please stand up for yourself. But don't waste your time trying to make someone who hates you not to hate you. Remember Seneca and Nero. And if someone doesn't love you, please just leave them in the past, because there are gonna be people who will love you. Why are you wasting your time for someone who doesn't? That's all, my beautiful queens and kings. I hope it was helpful. Namaste.